good that is. So now it's getting ready for serious programming time ahead, huh?
14 weeks.
That's tough to just beat for serious programming time. How good it's going to be, huh? So it's trying to avoid injuries, huh? I suppose one of the biggest reasons we'll ever get injuries is because we love what we do so much that we do lots of what we love. And rehab tends to be not something we really love, or prehab is not something we tend to really love. So what really spurs us on to is doing the list that we really want to do. But we've got to know that behind that we've got to have the balance. In some senses, to be great at anything means you've got to become unbalanced. You've got to become unbalanced in life. It means that spend more time training. It means something gets sacrificed somewhere along the line. So I always say successful people are unbalanced people. If you want to become a nobody, be really good, really balanced at everything in life, you might get anywhere. So within training, we're aiming for a little bit of imbalance to make training a priority. But within that, we've got to maintain the balance in our bodies. So the obvious things are the shoulder injuries come through, the back injuries aggravate the knees. So it's usually pretty much going to be the shoulders, the knees and the back, which are going to be the thing we're going to be playing with from an overuse sense. So, we might get the occasional elbow problem comes through or a wrist problem comes through. That's probably going to be more technically something that we're doing wrong rather than volumes of programming that's coming at us. So the volumes are going to tend to display up at a weak point within our bodies where we've got something that's not firing as well. So the prehab approach, which is saying we just got to, as the volumes of our training goes up, we've got to commit to doing our pre-heavy style work. So if you think of all the muscles that we do use when you do a certain lift, we've got to think what's the opposite group that's going to be there. And we've just got to make sure they're getting some form of stimulation. Now it doesn't have to be as much, it just has to be enough that it's keeping everything at bay. So if you think of benches, everyone tends to get the famous front of the shoulder pain. Now the old front of the shoulder pain, usually in the bicep area, that's usually simply a referral of a tight infraspinatus muscle sitting behind the shoulder. So what happens is you've got the nerve that comes out the neck there splits in two. One heads down the front, one heads down the back. And when the back one's feeling strained, it sends a message to the brain. The brain misconstrues it and goes, hey, it's at the front. That's why everyone goes, hey, it's over here, it's over here. Very rarely is that the problem. It's usually the back's being strained. So we use that classic analogy we're starting with bench style problems is that thing where we say you can't shoot the cannon out of the canoe, where you've got to have a stable base before you can fire something off it. And it is that lack of stability where the rotator cuff makes up for some rhomboid weakness or it's not handling the volume as well. And when we get the front of the shoulder, it's telling us it hurts. So I invented a couple of interesting exercises. Just got lucky. You always do your basics. It doesn't matter whether it's in here or in whatever profession you're in. The better you are at your basics, the better you'll tend to be at everything else. So you can never be shitty at your basics and really good at the esoteric stuff. So somehow I was reading an anatomy book about 6 or 8 weeks ago, and there was just this picture that I saw, and I thought, that's how we should get our external rotators working. And I tried this thing out, and it beats all the other external rotation stuff I've been doing. So obviously our bench presses are using strong internal rotation muscles, using our pecs strongly, and even our lats are an internal rotator as well. So when we're doing all this stuff, it's big internal rotation. Well, that usually means the external rotators have got to keep up with in the balance. So I brought a couple of good 2 kilo dumbbells down. So I grabbed them. We shall each go through the experience of what you're going to do for a bit of prehab for this one. To have a play. Annie, you to go first. There you go. We shall clear our space up because everyone's down here. Some old friends and maybe a little new one to add into it, okay? So, the famous, just whether everyone else calls them the flappy birds or whatever they call them, but lying face down with the dumbbells out to the side. Now the idea is this is like it's very zen, I call it. The more you try and overthink an exercise, the more you're going to interfere and screw it up. With these exercises, you just do it, and the muscles that are there are going to fire off exactly the way I want them to go. As soon as you start thinking, I've got to retract my rhomboid, something like that, First thing you'll do is you'll retract, you'll use your upper traps, and your upper traps will suddenly take off, screw the whole thing up. So all you're going to do is lift up the dumbbells from there and in, and down. So let's do about 15 reps, that's fine, 2 kilos. Two more, 14, 15. Now this is a tricep of prehab work. Now take the weight down to your hips, all the way down, palms up, head down. And now we go 10 reps from there. Let's see how you go. So what's happening here is a slight internal rotation into extension. Now if we go palms down, don't forget to go to the last rep. We're now suddenly gone into external rotation. So now lift up from there. Do you feel the difference there, Annie?
Mm-hmm.
What's happening here is the external rotator is now firing up, but into pure extension. It's a beautiful movement. Feel that one through?
Mm-hmm.
That's a tricep. Basically, I go for 2 triceps as the warm-up every day has to be done. So basically, we don't negotiate, it has to be done twice a day while we're in comp training. Everyone else has to play with this one. Let's see how we go. Want to play with this one, Pip? Find your triceps in this one if you haven't tried this before. Prepare. So let's see how, go for 15 anyway.
Is there an issue with using weights as opposed to dumbbells?
Anything that weighs that will be fine. So, but I might have just a couple of kilos of rice or a bottle which has, you can hold. As long as it's 2 kilos, you can hold it. Alright, now palms are up. Which puts us into a slight internal rotation with extension. And keeping the head down takes the traps out of it. Working a little bit there, Pip? Just wants to do more. Alright, now that's my favourite one. Ready for it? This is the one I played with the other week. This is the thing that has done it for so many people. Feel the tricep working a bit there?
I want to go out.
It wants to go out. That's where the weakness is. So it wants to go further out because by your side it's weak.
Yeah, I need practicing that one.
Oh, we all do. You're beginning, you got 2,000 to go. Come on in, next one. It's time to test. So yep, head is down perfectly. 15, beautiful. Arms up, yep. Had a guy came and saw me who was about 135 kilos, and he couldn't get 6 reps out to the side, and he was feeling just full of muscle. He was totally ashamed that his 6-year-old son could do more than he could.
It's happening to you too. It's really hard.
Feel that a bit? Great, this is going to help immensely getting the strength in here.
So what's taking over there?
That's infraspinatus actually working really hard, your external rotator there. And the triceps, clearly you can feel doing both work with them all. The triceps are suddenly being called in because everything else is going, what the hell am I doing? And triceps knows how to be a bit stronger, so it's kicked in.
Okay.
But as your external rotators come in to be strong, which will balance out your internal rotator, this will be a massive shoulder saver.
This will be embarrassing.
You should enjoy this up around here, so we go. You can tell people have done a few of these ones before.
Yeah.
2 years.
And it looks like it too, yeah, that's how it's supposed to be done. Good, now palms are up. Do about 10 there. This really, this is a beautiful mobiliser too, because what happens is you suddenly get stronger and tighter, and suddenly your range of shoulder increases of movement. There you go, Andy, enjoy it, take your time in for those ones, 3, 4. Got a bit of tricep playing in the last bit?
Yep.
It's awesome, isn't it? It's a beautiful thing. Come on in and enjoy it.
It's getting serious.
Come forward.
It's not supposed to be sweating.
And then the thing about this, the infraspinatus is the one that, when it gets strained, gives you the feeling to the front of the shoulder. So this is why we're really putting this, make this thing bulletproof. So this one, with the palms are down, really lifting is the thing we've got to do to try and get away from the anterior shoulder pain and make those really strong. Arms are up, yes.
So like 15s and 10s twice a day.
Yeah, in the early stage, and then what we'll do is we'll bring it back to the point where you're just going to do it twice a week, perhaps even. It becomes part of your programming. You go to the beach twice a week. Ready? This is going to be fun now. We're going to call NASA for the lift off then. It was pretty good. Beautiful. Rotate the cuffs here. Really nice work. So, enjoy that one.
It's tight.
Gus, you've definitely got to come and enjoy this one.
What's the problem?
Yeah, so our palms down really made a massive difference. So many feel the shoulder flexibility.
Is that, should we be keeping the hands by the side? Not letting them
Trying
down?
to.
Okay.
But at this stage, while learning, I'm happy to let it come up a little bit while it gets learnt, and then become a little bit stricter and say, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, palms up, 10 of those. Now we tend to also think sometimes imagine the ground is made of eggshells, and you don't want to. That was good.
It's like he wants the attention.
Nearly there, guys. I think you'll get us seriously enjoy the palms down, guys.
Here we go.
Yep, ready?
Watch this rom.
We have lift off.
Can you do it without the 2 kilos?
I can try it without one start.
I don't think I can take my hands down.
Absolutely, yep. That's a start. Good, yeah, begin. That's what I was saying, the biggest guy I saw ever walk in couldn't get 6 reps out. It was just the ones out by the side, they like these. He's devastated. Great, well within probably a week of doing those, you're going to feel so much better.
We'll cut that out.
And your shoulder
I'm going to cut that out.
There in the video.
Yeah, super awesome. So the idea with this one is, while we're introducing it, kicking the reps up around about 15, 10 is great for a couple of sets. So twice a day, great. The volume's really, the weight's really low, and you just get a little bit of volume in, get a feel for it, and then once you move up, you can start doing the 3 kilos, and then you drop the reps down. You might do 10, 5 and 5. I'm happy with that. And then you might end up at 5 kilo weights eventually towards 12 weeks time. You might do 5, 5 and 5 in the tricep. 2 of those. Great, it's demonstrating how much stronger you've got, and it's going to match up with the weights are getting more moved. So in these early stages, just get some nice reps, get the skill turned on, get this thing figured out. 4 weeks down the track, add a little bit of weight, drop the reps. Add a little bit of weight, drop the reps until we get just about the right time, and we might be up to 4 or 5 kilos for a couple of reps, controlling it beautifully. So after that, it's definitely lats time for everything. So has everyone been doing the lat band work at all? Great, because lat bands probably follow this as a prehab thing. So we always want to pull that elbow down into the pelvis, getting that feeling for it. So we're using the elbow in or using a handle at the moment for the bands? Handle? Pull? Great, yep. That makes it so much easier. So when they're activated, it sort of gives you that feel that you're looking for when you want to lock the elbows down. You just pull the scaps in, because it's got that feeling that pulling the elbows down tightens you up. So they're our major things. Of course, now we've got the anti-bench that we're doing, which is a great pull. Alright. Same sort of thing, that just becomes a thing that you program in a little bit. The weight's going to go up with that one, and then the reps are going to come down a bit as you control it. So it's the thing, as you get better at it, you start to be able to really control, you know, 6s and stuff like that rather than 15s and 25s, which are nice in the early stage. But once you're up to where you are now, it's nice to start to say, okay, let's drop the reps down a bit, let's increase the weight a bit and really get some hard work into that. And that'll pay off massively for that. Now, everyone doing back bends at the moment? Standing extensions? Let's all do a couple of reps. Let's see how everyone's extension goes today. Yep. Putting the hands on the hips and comfortably bending backwards. Yeah, a couple of those. You all look like you've done them before, which is great. Now, I'm funny, I'm a little bit obsessed about this one. I think that you should do 1 rep between every set of squat and deads that you do. Just because it reminds you that you should have done them at some point. If you forgot, you're making sure you're doing them between each set. And if, for some reason, it's stiffer than what you're currently feeling, which is good, then it tells you you should do a couple more until you do your next set. They'll just save spectacular. The idea is the backs only really get hurt as a series of dominoes that fall. So there's the usual thing at work, you've got static postures where you're going to sit or stand in a certain position that then fatigues something, and then the movement pattern, which for some reason at some point might break down, and if you haven't addressed the disc material having slightly been back where it is, then it's that 1 rep that gets you. And it doesn't even matter what weight it is. Most people always say, I just bend over, you know, pick up my car keys and I went. It's very rarely do you find that sort of back injury comes on a heavy weight for anyone who's experienced. It's always happened to the novice who walks in and does their PB. That's when they screw up. But when you're at your level, it's usually, fuck, I just warmed up at 60. And it happens, sort of thing. That's the more normal thing where somebody simply hasn't addressed either the standing or lying extensions. So with us, you've got just so many repetitions and so much experience behind you that you've got movement patterns that are already there. It's like when you go to a comp and you watch the novice lifters, their first to third reps will be different every single rep when you watch their technique. Like they might get their first one, looks fairly reasonable. The second one, you see the knees fall in on the second one, and that third rep where they're going somewhere they haven't been before, the head dives between the knees and the knees going in, and it turns into the frog in the blender look, you know. But you look at the really good lifters, and the first to third all look exactly the same. It's like a photocopy, you just can't pick the difference. And it's either you get it or you don't. That's what the spotters are there for. So when you've got your sort of stuff where you're looking at beautiful form consistently done, then it's just weaknesses which set up our injuries rather than bad movement patterns. So you've all got good movement patterns. So then it comes down to, well, the classic is when somebody comes in and sees me with a back problem and say, you're doing abs, I go, yeah, I deadlift and squat. And you go, that's not abs, no matter what. You've got to do dedicated ab work. So the classic thing is, you know, people come in, they might do, you know, I'm doing sit-ups or I'm doing, you know, hanging leg raises or something like that. And that doesn't apply to what you're doing here, because this is isometric. You're basically creating a cylinder cord that's tight and not moving. So when you're doing your basic ab work, it's basically built around planks, side planks sort of stuff. So you basically got to get nice, tight, hard planks. And we've all done the tension planks all before. We've done those. All right, the tension plank is basically a really good way to remind yourself to, because it should last 10 seconds to do a correct tension plank. So the correct tension plank turns everything on, and it's like being under a bar. When you've got the same cue, everything's got to be tight as hard as beaten. It's very rare you're going to spend 10 seconds underneath the bar. So it's a very applicable style thing. So everyone want to do a momentary plank? Just 30 seconds of great plankington.
Plankton.
Yeah.
Plankton. Plankton.
Plankton.
Yes, you know, I was. I see.
Now the whole idea with this style of plank is you shouldn't feel your back working. It's an ab moment. So if you do feel the back working a bit too much, you slightly raise the hips until the abs work a little bit harder, and that's your isometric position to hold from. So it's really useful is just to hold it, and 30 seconds is more than enough because there's no point in doing anything wrong with this. A couple more seconds in there. Looks good. Great, and relax. Now we'll turn one of those into a tension plank, okay? So the tension plank where you're going to use the hand and the fist as our cue to create the power and the tension throughout the body. And as you crush your hands and make a wide knuckle fist, that's the time you pull your elbows down to your toes, pull your toes up to your elbows, tense your abs, tense your butt, tense your quads, hamstrings, lats and pecs. And by then it should be 10 seconds done. So everyone get ready for the tension plank. So when we get up, we get our position and big wide knuckle fist. Okay, get ready, go hard. And when you do that, you pull your elbows down to your toes, you pull your toes up to your elbows. Crank those abs tight. Now try and crack a one up between your butt cheeks hard, right? Good, quads tight, hammies tight, lats tight, pecs tight, and done. It's over. Feels like a max rep. Like a good set, really should. Or a good rep. So often people, when they do say pause squats in a routine, they sometimes relax a little bit too much at the bottom. A good idea is to use that sort of cue to do one of those beforehand. Then when you're down the bottom of a pause, you crush the bar, just reminds your body to stay tight at the bottom, coming out of it. So that's a sort of occasional injury I see somebody who's been doing pauses, and they pause, and they think pause means relax. Not quite, it means stay tight the whole time. So that's a beautiful little technique to remind yourself that if you crush the bar hard, it's going to remind you to stay tight when you're in a position. It's a nice cure for any sort of area where you might feel that you've got a bit of weakness. So, of course, abs is pretty much straightforward. Side planks, worth doing as well because its lateral stability is useful to have in there. So, side plank, you want to do a side plank now for 15 seconds. Yep. And that's it, up we go, 15 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and done. Then the other side gets equal treatment. Find the position, find the strength, and then into 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and done. Now, the next one, it's a variation which everybody likes, but it's basically the rolling plank. So it might need a little bit more room. Just going to go from one side for 15 seconds, into the centre for 15 seconds, then the other side for 15 seconds. Just a rolling plank. So find a bit of room.
Should we just all face the same way and then roll?
Who could that be?
Yeah.
Synchronised plank. Prepare for the synchronised plank. Good, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. To the centre, staying high. So you don't let yourself down between reps. You got to stay high. 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay high and over on the other side.
Oh, sorry, Andy.
13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and done. So the rolling plank is really awesome. Everyone should do that, 2 of those prior to training. Now, according to the fine research that has been done, we also should be doing our bird dogs as well. So, we've done bird dogs, side planks, and the curl up, which we'll look at. And they should all be done before any workout because they increase the stability of your spine. Only spent $500 million research demonstrating that, so so up onto the hands and knees. Your famous bird dog time.
I don't do this one.
So yeah, come forward a little bit. So we go. It's going to be reaching forward with one leg or one arm, and the alternate leg going backwards. So there's a little bit of
I
forward.
just realised recently this is named Big dog.
Yeah. Now you gotta hold it for about 2 seconds and then change over. Now, what you're really supposed to do, keep going, is you're going to keep your pelvis level and flat, so you're not lifting your hip as you go. So you got to pull the side down slightly so it's very flat. You can put a clipboard on your back or something, or a ball on your back or something, or some wraps. But you want your back to stay basically flat and not rotate your hip upwards. So that's what we're working to do, is keep that centered. So you're holding control, and you feel that that's what your abs are trying to do. So you're using your stabilizers to hit that position. So it's just 10 reps either side, each side. Good, looking good. Now the famous curl ups, okay? So the curl ups finish our routine of what should be done before every workout. So curl ups, laying on the back. Good, one leg goes straight and one leg is bent. Now, it has to be done exactly as it's going to be described. Now, the reason you have one leg up and one leg bent is that it fixes your pelvis into a straight position. So if you have them both up, that means you're going to hit a slight pelvic tilt. You put your both legs down, it tilts in the opposite direction. So one up, one down, stabilises you. From here, you put your hands on your abs. And first instruction is tense your abs as if you're expecting to brace. So brace. You hold the brace, then you lift your elbows off the ground. Then you put your chin onto your chest. And then you roll into a sit-up position, basically stopping, keeping the lower back on the ground. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now we've got 4 more of those. 5 for 5 seconds. You have to be brace first. Elbows up, chin onto chest, roll shoulders. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 3 more on the side. Brace. So it's always preceded. Brace first, elbows up, chin on chest, roll, keeping lower back still in contact with the ground. 5 seconds. 5 times 5. And done, we change legs over and it's 5 times on the other side. So it's just perfect. Brace, elbows up, chin to chest, roll up, hold 5 seconds. Nice tension. Then when you've done that, you can stand up and bend forward and touch your toes and see how your flexibility is instantly improved. How does your flexibility improve when you pull your toes? So basically what happens is that you got tighter and tightened everything up, and enables you to have more flexibility. So you move better once your core is tightened up. And that's a classic. So yeah, that's sort of like basically should be unnegotiable that we do.
It's the longest warm up I've ever done.
Yeah. Well, essentially you're treating yourself like a professional athlete now. You know, when you see any professional rugby team, footy team, cricket team or anything, or baseball team, everybody warms up before the game, and warm-up should be defined as the minimal amount necessary for you to perform your maximal things safely. So we don't make the warm-up a workout, but it's just enough to make sure that you're doing what it takes to get to be safe with what you're doing. So the shoulder protectors are there for the shoulder days. We just do a little bit of intro stuff now to make sure we're doing them more frequently as you get better, and then you just switch them back to being a couple of times a week. Proceed across the bench day when you do the shoulder stuff, and this core stuff basically precedes every deadlift and bent and squat session. So perfect thing, and always our bend backs are in there underneath. So they're all our classics. Then pretty much you've covered your major bases at this point for what your pre-heavy sort of thing should be. And then, you know, once after that, you start to just address the individual weaknesses that might be under there. And it just comes down to whether we've got weak glutes, we do our glute work, or we've got some lower back challenges, we've got to do our lower back work, or our thoracic stuff. Address the individual things each one of us has got. But basically the shoulder one, the lower back ones, do those, and we're basically ticking the boxes for safety. And that should prevent the accumulative injuries we tend to get. So, as someone notices that your knees are falling in, obviously it means weak glutes, but we don't see much of that around here with the better lifters, do we? Any questions on things? Any thoughts or questions anyone's got? All pretty much nailing it perfectly at the moment, everything's feeling good.
Elbow pain.
Elbow pain, that tends to talk just a little bit about, likely to be either a reflection of something from the shoulder having to be made up for at the elbow. So weakness in the shoulders, but a really good chance that that'll be the reason the elbow pain's coming on. But then again, if you look at elbows, elbows are little joints like that, and we're trying to lift fairly large weights on them, whereas you look at your knee joints, they're big, and they're basically structurally expected to bear a lot of weight. So it tends to be with our bench stuff, elbow pain on benching probably comes from a little bit of joint stiffness that might come from a lack of shoulder mobility. If you're getting elbow pain from squatting, it usually means straightforward. Guess who hasn't got shoulder mobility? That's a pretty classic one. So it depends upon whatever's doing it. Which one are you thinking about?
No. It's definitely mobility.
The classic mobility thing.
I'm hands on collars and I can't touch the bar. I can't touch the bar on my chest until it's 100 kilos.
Yeah.
So,
But I reckon after you start the floor stuff there, if you're consistent with that, that will change it dramatically. There's a couple others good ones. For thoracic mobility before squatting, for example, if that's a current problem. Take a seat, we're going to demo, you're on. Yep, come and sit back a little further on the bench. So all the way back, bring the butt all the way back. Great, alright. So generally we might look at the bar being around about the bottom of the shoulder blade, alright? With you it's a little bit higher, okay? But if I get someone who's getting problems with the shoulder mobility, put your right hand on the shoulder and your left hand on that shoulder, so cross them over. And what you're going to do is you're going to lean back over the bar and point your elbows all the way to the ceiling, like that. And then back down. Let's do a few of those. Good. Point the elbows up. So we'll use the arbitrary number 10 here, shall we? It could be 9, it could be 11, but we'll call it 10, right? For no great scientific reason. But this is the way of loosening up some thoracic spine work, because we all bend forward with our work pretty much all the time, whether it's computers or whether it's work that's doing things, we're forward all the time. So basically we've got all the thoracic joints here that are going to be a bit stiff, and this is the way of loosening up the thoracic stiffness.
That'd be good for you.
Yeah, it's a good one. And now the next thing you do is you're going to do rotation. And that means you still sit like that, but you rotate around to your left and put your left hand on the bar. Like that. Then you put your right hand on top of the left, and then you look around to the left. Like that, yep. And then you go around to the right, do the same thing. Yep. That's nice, yeah. Yeah, let's do a few of those.
It's harder than it looks.
Yeah, but you're starting to move a bit now too, aren't you?
Oh yeah.
And this is such a good mover for lack of shoulder mobility. I mean, it's such a simple thing. Yeah, and then look around to your left and right, just yeah, you can feel that your neck opens up a little bit of movement straight away. So neck movement really depends a lot upon how stiff we are under here. And just put your hands up over your head. Yeah, and now you've got a bit of mobility back here, you can actually put a bar behind your neck. So this move really helps a lot for those people who are stiff in that particular position. So Garcia, you'll be on here twice a day, I think.
I'll give it a go.
Have a go. That's it, so all the way back, keep going. That's it, good. Now put your hands on your shoulders, across, and lean back over the bar. Good, and most things get the elbows up, because that's going to help you extend. Good, and then back down. And we'll do that arbitrary 10 number. Lean back into it. Because the elbow raising helps that thoracic spine start to extend. That's looking better. Even in a few reps, you're starting to move a little bit under there. You'll have your hand position like my Leonard chef in no time. Yes. See a few bits of rust fall out. The Iron Man's got on my ability, doesn't he? Looking good. Now, you're going to do the rotation. How much fun that's going to be, huh? Yeah, that's it. Now you've got to get the other hand over here somewhere. That's it. You're going to touch. Good. Cramp?
Yep.
Not abnormal.
I think his defense, he's got really short arms.
Yeah. Just touch and look this way.
A lot of us have short
And then the other direction. You don't have to set the world record in your first rep. You just start to rotate. Now the other direction. Start to give it time. Start to move a bit of rust. That's it, and then go the other direction. So it's just start to work yourself into that movement. Yeah, good, now the other direction. Perfect, yeah. Keep going, that's 3.
Andrew, is this risky for someone with lower back pain, or is it pretty safe for someone?
Pretty safe because I'm fixing the hips in this position.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
why.
yeah.
Yep, so rotation is really coming out of the thoracic spine, not the lumbar.
Yeah.
Yep, looking good.
I can bend one way further than the other way.
Naturally.
Is that
If I gave you a ball, which hand would you throw it with?
right?
Good, so that'll be your rotation, will be freer.
Okay.
Because you're naturally used to doing this, which you're not used to naturally doing that. So you'll have that normal way you do things. So for example, if you had a ball to kick, and you kicked it with your right leg, that means your left leg's your balance leg. So you're better balancing on the left leg than you would be on the right leg. So the body has already adapted to these sorts of things underneath. Alright, put the hands across the shoulders, there you go, so do a couple more bend backs over the top and just see.
It's further.
A little bit easier than obviously the first couple, yeah. Just do that a couple of times a day and it will start to really work. Good.
That'd help with your back pain from sitting all day
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
totally will.
See how far you can get.
Yeah. At the moment I'm expecting you just to do military presses, so you can get to the front. But after a while they'll start to get him back. There's a couple of exercises using the broomstick and pulling backwards, just actively opening up, but I don't want to do those yet. I'll just work on this part first before we put those other ones in. So stage 1, just get the mobilising of the thoracic spine in before we start using muscles to open you up. Plus the floor one's going to strengthen up what we wanted as well. So I reckon that's your perfect prescription, Dr. Gus. Twice a day with those 1 to 2 kilos on the floor, and twice a day with the thoracic extension and rotation. I expect you to be moving like Gumby next time I see you. In about a month. Yep. So that should be very interesting to see with your elbows then when you start to get under a bar. Because I reckon you'll start to suddenly go, you can move your shoulders. And the elbows will be not taking the stress that they currently are. They're currently obviously the weak point where it's just going out like that. Great, that would be awesome.
Is it similar to like bicep? So if you get pain, say across the front of the bicep as opposed to
When you're squatting,
pinching.
benching, probably more a reflection of what's actually happening in the shoulder. So if you're an artist, right, you tend not to draw people whose shoulders sit in front of their chest like yours do. You tend to draw that where the shoulders are coming back. So normally you have your ears and your shoulders in a fairly similar line. But at the moment, because of the strength there, it's pulling you forward. And of course that just means back there's going to be a little bit of crap. Feel that a little bit in there? Yeah, that's a little bit tired. So those floor exercises will do wonders for you there too. Yeah, just consistency a couple of times a day. But I always say, sit like a legend. Pull the shoulders back, be a legend. That's it now, be more legendary. You know, you got to walk around and talk around like that all day.
That's right.
Yeah. So yes, the key word is wear the t-shirt, become a legend.
It's time back.
Let's get the muscles to tighten back. So once you do those floor things, they will tighten you up anyway. you'll find it easy to find that position. Easy. So beautiful things, a bit of shoulder, a bit of thoracic mobility, good to throw in the mix. So, hip mobility, any problems with those so far? Everyone's
Depth issues for me. I've had to change my squat a bit to be able to hit depth. I've had to come a bit more.
You had the same sort of thing.
I've had to bring my feet in a bit
all
to be
right.
able to do it. So I get a bit more flexion to the knee, but it lets me hit depth.
Well, let's grab 2 of the lightest kettlebells then, huh? You and Andy to have a bit of fun with.
Yeah. Just laughing.
Because you
Alright, so Andy, you get one of the kettlebells and so disgusting. Alright, simple thing. You're going to get down to the squat position with the kettlebell held between your hands like that. So just squat down, put the kettlebell upside down. In that position there, good. Well, you're going to sit down in that position there, and now you're going to do some bicep curls. Yep, down, all the way down, and all the way up. Do a few of those. Strangely enough, the hips start to drop a bit. As you can see on Gus here.
Yeah.
So as Andy dropped well, dropped into it. One of the astounding things. This little mobiliser works really well for getting hips Alright, stand up. Have a couple of squats. Try that. Yeah.
Whoa! Andy, you really touched the ground, mate.
So that's pretty heavy warm up time. Yeah, you do a few bicep curls. Well, basically, my figuring out was what happens is when you get this position here, you're changing your centre of mass like this, and what happens is the hips start to work with the changing centre of mass, and it just starts to move the joints. And it's a beautiful way of getting there. It just suddenly drops you that little bit more. So a few sets of those, and suddenly you've got some open hips.
It's a weird warm-up routine.
Imagine people walking past and it's just like, it's like a
Do a bicep curls with
Pretty
the-
good, I guess. I'm squatting.
With his 5 kilos.
Just warming up for a 300.
Yeah.
Can you imagine us at Nationals? Out the back, Gus out the back. Yeah, there guys.
We'll bring one of those
Laugh
pop-up
now.
tents
Yeah.
and you can see us.
Yeah, it's one of the classic ones, that one. It's just an awesome thing to open up. Some people just do a bit of prying going side to side, but I think it works heaps better.
Yeah.
I think there was someone at the American Nationals who was doing that on the weekend. Gets it open up very fast. So yeah, once again, anything you do twice a day is going to make a difference frequently because the body will get used to it faster. So obviously you do it prior to training, but it's good to do it some other time as well. There you go. Deb's now too.
Is there much, like for Gus, his has been a long-term issue, and sometimes with heavier weight, it gets, like the depth cuts higher. Is there much you can do for strengthening in the bottom? Like what sort of strengthening focus, or do you think mobility first and then just working through the range?
Mobility is good, yes. Mobility allows them to get there a little better.
Just, I don't have practice with this one either. We love for like 2 years.
Yeah.
It's the first time I've been able to actually train without pain. So.
Yeah, and I guess if you're doing sub-maximal and you're hitting depth every rep, then you're going to get stronger that anyway.
Certainly will, yes. I mean, there's always going to be an exception to a rule somewhere. Someone who cuts high every time and turns up to be confident always hits depth. That's going to happen. And there's other people who are going to hit depth every day and cut high when it comes to comp. There's both psychological aspects of that besides the pure physiological stuff that we're looking at. So just got to know yourselves and know your athletes. I think that one too. Is that that's something obviously it makes sense that you practice your depth, you get your depth. That should be it.
Mine wasn't a problem to work about that.
Yeah.
It's not messed up.
Probably a little bit in the back of the head there. That was the challenge. You knew if you stayed a little bit higher, it wasn't going to hurt.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
Yeah, and then when it wasn't, I still couldn't.
yeah,
Even though I thought it was.
you had learned how to stop. The brakes had come on, and now you take the brakes off. Yeah, that'll work. So perfect. We've got ourselves some depth. Any other good pains and problems?
I think you covered all mine.
You're pretty much in, ready for action, huh?
I
Yeah.
get pain stuff at work, but I think that's just,
Pain at work?
yeah.
What sort of things you do on that?
Building stuff.
Building things?
Yeah.
Stuff good.
Like hammer and nailing things that
All
aggravate someone.
interior.
Yeah. But I think I should probably just do some of that with their work.
Of course, naturally, because that's the thing you do repetitive work.
With your hammer.
Yeah.
The worst pain I ever encountered was a guy who came in and saw me, and he had this incredible arm pain, just amazing arm pain all the way down to his wrist from his arm. And the whole reason for it is that 2 weeks earlier he was a builder, and he had to lock up on this particular day, and his compressor broke for his nail gun, so he had to do every nail by hand. And I think it was something like 3,000 nails had to be done, and each of them approximately would take 3 hits to hit in. So he's done about 9,000 hits that he's just not used to, and perfect for 2 weeks. 14 days later, this incredible neck to arm pain got him, and it was basically the worst case of DOMS you'd ever seen. Because you know how if you get DOMS, sometimes the first day's fine, the second day's hits you harder, and when you really stuff it, actually the second day's okay, it's the third day's it's worse. And he demonstrated that 9,000 hits of a hammer takes 2 weeks to show up. And interestingly, the guys who were working for him, one went down 2 days after that, and this one went down the next day after that, and they all had that same problem. So it's a phenomenal case of almost as weird as DOMS ever. So yes, it can be very useful to do that pretty heavy stuff.
Imagine 9,000 flutters.
Yeah. So the things can happen out there, it can be dangerous, yeah. Just on the other side, then you're under pressure because you've got to be locked up on that day, and there you go. So all looking good, everyone's all prepped up for lots of fun now for the next 12, 13 weeks, huh? Magic, should be good. So what day is that? It's in July sometime, isn't it?
July 20, around July
July
20th, 21st,
great.
22nd.
Oh wow, that's really excellent. Make sure you book your accommodation somewhere in Melbourne, eh?
Already booked, we got a big house for everyone.
Awesome, whereabouts?
In Preston.
Oh, good luck. Has it got the electric fence?
It's on the water. That's pretty good.
In-house security. Yeah.
But is it diving
Yeah,
out there?
Gus and Coy, right?
In Frank Afghanistan, yes.
Frank.
It can be.
It's gonna be heated pool. It's pretty awesome.
That's great, yeah. Alright, well, action then. I really enjoyed the work.
Thanks very much.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's good to be able to just let me know when anything pops up. We've got to have the team hit the spot, huh? It's going to be great. It's going to be exciting nationals. I'm going to be in Mexico and America. We're going to be back 2 weeks before that, so it'll be great.
Cool.
So I'll be there for the show. So yeah, everyone's going into Dix this weekend now.
See which record.
Yeah, tomorrow's a big day, I suppose.
Tomorrow the last